a day like this. Even the officials. Twisted right knee for Mike Merriweather. They're working on him on the sideline. 2nd down and 12 for the Browns. Pressure on Kozar. Pass intended for Slaughter. Penalty marker down. Rutland may have pushed him, and the Browns may get a break here. And I think Slaughter helped his cause with a vehement protest to the official while the ball was in the air.
And an outstanding job from Kozar of getting rid of the ball before Joey Browner got to him on the blitz. Saw the man-to-man coverage in the secondary and gave his receiver a chance to get to the ball.
Pass interference, number 48, first down.
And last week we had an official also facing away from us giving the call.
Here's Rutland with the right hand out there, and that's all the referee needs to see to call the pass interference, and that'll put the ball on the 5-yard line.
A 26-yard penalty against Reggie Rutland, and now the Browns with a big opportunity here. 1st and goal on the 5-yard line. 2 tight ends, Ozzie Newsome and Ron Middleton. 9:07 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Vikings lead 3-0.
And offensive tackle Paul Farron will move to a tight end position as Ricky Bolden comes in to play left tackle.
Kevin Mack and Tim Manoa, 2 big backs out of the eye. Kozar rolling out, his pass caught, touchdown to Middleton, the tight end. And a penalty marker. Is there a marker now?
There is a yellow flag in the corner of the end zone, but I don't believe it's a penalty flag.
We have 12 men on the defense.
Well, it is a penalty.
Decline. Touchdown.
12 men on the field. The Browns will score. Lloyd Peters, the defensive coordinator of the Vikings.
Well, Kozar comes out, not much of a play-action fake here. He doesn't really need anything. What he's battling here is the 12-man prevent defense, and even the extra guy can't keep Middleton out of the end zone, and a big touchdown for the Browns.
Not only is it Middleton's first touchdown reception of the year, it's his first catch of the year.
Pretty good average, yeah. That's not a bad average.
A journeyman tight end makes a big play, and now Matt Barr, with Mike Pagel holding, trying to give the Browns a 7-3 lead. Kick is good. And it's 7-3, and what really hurt the Vikings was a 26-yard pass interference penalty against Rutland. But the Browns are on top. Ron Middleton, a journeyman tight end, been with several clubs, including Atlanta. Catches a 5-yard pass for the touchdown, and for Bernie Kozar, he had not thrown a touchdown pass since the Seattle game 5 weeks ago. 19 quarters. Brian Wagner will kick off. Herschel Walker, number 34, is deep. 7-3, the Browns lead, and a very short end-over-end kick. Bobbled by Alfred Anderson. Picked up. Vikings have it, 1st down.
Take a look at this touchdown, and you got to take my word for it, folks. There are 8 men right in here. Then they go 9, 10, 11, 12, and that's one too many. It's amazing that even with 12 men, they couldn't find a way to cover Ron Middleton as he comes out in the flat and gets the perfect pass from Kozar for the 6.
There's a scoring drive. 51 yards. Good field position for the Browns, and they cashed in on it. 1st down on the 24 for the Vikings. Wade Wilson will go down, and the first sack of the game by Cleveland. Looked like Bubba Baker and Michael Dean Perry will share that honor. Loss of 9 yards.
Number 92 is Michael Dean, who's got his eyes on his man. That's Kalis at the line of scrimmage. Keeps fighting. Now Kalis just leaves him, thinking he's going to get help from Irwin. Miscommunication in the offensive line cost the Vikings a sack.
Tell you, the refrigerators would have liked two have played like this fella, huh?
Tell you what, his little brother is showing him how it's done, how to keep yourself in shape and contribute to the team.
2nd and 19. Wilson's pass nearly picked off by Mike Johnson. It was right in his hands. And that'll bring up 3rd down, but you can see that the tenor of this game has changed dramatically in favor of the Browns.
You really feel the entire momentum is swung in favor of the Browns. A turnover now, and the Browns capitalizing with any type of score could be fatal to the Vikings.
8 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. 4 wide receivers on 3rd and 19. No shotgun as Wilson now ducks under center. Wilson from his 5 completes it to Alfred Anderson out of the backfield. Well short. The tackle is made at the 21 by Clay Matthews, and it'll be 4th down. And once again, the Browns could be looking at good field position once more.
But that was a good play for the Vikings. They picked up about 10 yards, and what that does is it gives their punter, Bucky Scribner, a little breathing room.
Scribner in to kick again inside his 10. Deep for the Browns is Gerald McNeil. Only 5'7". Good kick. Sails over the head of McNeil. And will be now at the 36-yard line. And that's where the Browns will take over. Next Sunday, a big NFL doubleheader on the final weekend of the season. 1 o'clock Eastern. All begins with the NFL today. Green Bay at Dallas, the Rams at New England, Phoenix at Philadelphia. All of those games could be very big factors. And of course, the late game, Chicago at San Francisco, the 49ers in their final tune-up before their bid for the playoffs and another Super Bowl. Bring you up to date on the score. Now, Minnesota trailing. Green Bay leading, and if it stays the way it is, the Packers could move into a tie. Cincinnati all over Houston and the rest of the score. 1st and 10 Browns on their 37. Kozar's pass. Caught by Kevin Mack out of the backfield. Not for a lot of yardage, but in any event, it looks like Bernie Kosar has his rhythm. Scott Studwell makes the stop on Mack.
The one thing about Kosar is he is a competitor, and I think that the tougher it gets in a ball game, this fella really rises to the occasion. Has had an outstanding career already, and has only been in the league a couple of years.
2nd and 6 on the 41. Makes the tackle, replacing Mike Merriweather in the Minnesota lineup. We may have a measurement coming up.
This is what the middle linebacker sees. Big 230-pound Kevin Mack behind outstanding blocking. The cutback picks up about 6. Be close enough for a measurement.
Time remaining is 6:27 in the 3rd quarter. Harless's field goal gave the Vikings a 3-0 lead. Late in the 1st half. They're short by that much. And then Ron Middleton caught a 5-yard pass from Bernie Kosar here in the 3rd quarter. That's been the only scoring in this defensive battle. Question is it a defensive battle or the offense has been struggling? Maybe a combination of both.
Well, with the field conditions, the wind chill factor, and all those things really benefits the defense. Talk about a prevent defense. Everything is going against an offense on a day like today.
3rd and 1, 2 tight ends. Kevin Mack, the running back. Quarterback sneak. They didn't need much. And see whether Kosar might have coughed it up in the middle of that pile.
He might have fumbled because the fullback, Kevin Mack, dove in there low looking to recover the ball. If that's the case, the Browns are going to be short of the 1st down. Yeah, it looks like Kevin Mack is down at the bottom there with the football.
And they actually lost a little bit, maybe a few inches. That'll bring up 3rd down. They certainly lost.
You have to
like
wonder, and you have to wonder about the play selection there, going with Kozar on the quarterback sneak instead of turning around and handing it to your big fullback.
So it's 4th down. They had 3rd and 1, and a quarterback sneak fails, and Brian Wagner comes in. Well, the momentum had shifted over to the Browns side, and they were driving nicely, but they missed a 3rd and 1 on a quarterback sneak, and now the Vikings have a chance to grab it back.
Really a questionable call there. Tough for the quarterback to get any momentum after taking the snap, and in fact Kozar dropped the ball on the ground. Lucky for the Browns that Mack got on top of it.
Leo Lewis goes back. Wagner will kick, especially after that run by Kevin Mack up the middle. Prior to that, Leo Lewis on the run. Gets as far as the 32-yard line. 10-yard return, so the Vikings with a chance now to get back, trailing 7-3. Santa Claus has come to town.
He's putting gloves on.
He could catch some passes, go out on some patterns today.
You know, he feels right at home.
You know, he's got several layers under that. September. 1st and 10 Vikings on their 32. Wilson on 1st down. Anthony Carter makes the catch. Close to 1st down yardage. Mark Harper, cornerback, makes the tackle.
Well, the Vikings finally get Anthony Carter single covered out here, and this is a perfect throw by Wilson, as Harper is very close, but that ball was to the outside, just like you're told to do it at old quarterback school.
First catch of the game for Anthony Carter, who leads the team. But basically, the Browns have done a terrific job in stopping the Vikings. They've even improved on a fine season average of yards allowed. 2nd down and 1. Bursting forth for the 1st down is Herschel Walker. Time remaining 4 minutes and 35 seconds in the 3rd quarter. 7-3 the Browns lead. Talk about controlling your destiny. With Cincinnati rolling over Houston, the Browns can control it by winning today and then winning next week.
And it appears that the Bengals are not going to let their AFC championship of last year go without a fight. Having a fabulous afternoon against the Browns, they'll be tough next Monday.
Doesn't surprise anyone. 1st down. Here's a reverse to Carter. Carter will get to midfield and into Cleveland territory, and he is run out of bounds. So after a couple of reverses by the Browns, the Vikings try it and gain 16 yards. Carl Hairston and Felix Wright pushed him out of bounds.
Well, this man, Anthony Carter, has got to come up with some big plays. Right now, the Vikings appear that they're trying to get him more involved in the offense. But Andrew Stewart, number 96, has a chance right here to make the play. But it appeared that Wayne Wilson came back and freed Carter for the big gain.
That's the best run today by the Vikings. And it's by a wide receiver. 1st down on the 39 of Cleveland. Herschel Walker tries the middle and gets to the 35. A pickup of 4. Eddie Johnson on the stop. It's Joey Browner, the tough safety for the Vikings.
You know, the momentum is going back and forth, ebb and flow, but on a day like today, we've got too much ebb and not enough flow for these offenses.
3 men up front. They sent 8 men back, 2nd and 7. And the give to Rick Fetty. Looks like the Browns were trying to get out of their way on the defensive line. Carl Hairston, a little sidestep. We did not see a penalty marker thrown, but it was close.
Well, the Browns set an NFL record for guys almost jumping off sides on this play. Watch. We'll get one. There's Matthews. There's a couple more. Oh, there's a couple more guys. And Hairston even got up out of his stance and ran towards the sideline, number 78.
He might have said, wait, I'm getting out of here.
Heady play.
3rd down and 5. Wade Wilson's pass. Incomplete, penalty marker thrown from the secondary. Jordan, the tight end.
And that's going to be offensive pass interference against the Vikings as they sent 2 wide receivers down inside to pick the
Pass
coverage.
Gustafson.
Number 80.
Jim Gustafson.
He had help too. They're trying to spring Jordan out in the flat. Brought both wide receivers down inside and got caught.
He came in motion into the slot, and that's the penalty. Happens on 3rd down and 5. So a decision here for the Browns on whether to accept the penalty.
Number 80, offensive pass interference declined. 4th down.
Now the Vikings over on the sideline. Bucky Scribner started to come on the field and now goes back. And the Vikings are going to go for it on 4th and 5 on the Browns' 34-yard line, thinking that if they fail, they'll rely on their defense. And the handoff up the middle. Alfred Anderson close to the 1st down. He's got it. So on a 4th down play, a good call to Anderson up the middle.
This is the strength of this Viking team. Watch the trap block here from Randall McDaniel, number 64. That frees Anderson up the middle. Tremendous collision from Thane Gash there, but Alfred Anderson strong enough to bull forward and just pick up the 1st down.
Anderson's first carry of the game. He had missed the last 5 with a sprained right arch. Made the most of his 1 carry. 1st down on the 29. Wilson up the middle to Fenny. Fenny will get it to the 26-yard line. Thane Gash on the stop. Clock running. Nearly a minute and a half remaining in the 3rd quarter. Browns lead 7-3. The Vikings, with a victory, would wrap up the NFC Central Division, even if the Green Bay Packers hold their lead. Houston losing. Pittsburgh is still alive, and Miami, that would be a big setback for them. San Diego making it tough for Kansas City. And if the Lions come on. 2nd and 7. Herschel Walker up the middle. He'll score. Touchdown Vikings. 26 yards. And Minnesota regains the lead.
Well, maybe Herschel Walker is getting the hang of this trapping offense, because this is again a trap play right up the middle. McDaniel coming down, blocking on Bubba Baker, and now there's nobody as Walker breaks the tackle of Wright, the tackle of Gash, and gets in the end zone.
7th touchdown rushing of the year for Herschel Walker. It is now 9-7. Rich Carlos with Scribner holding. And the kick is good. So with exactly 1 minute remaining in the 3rd quarter here at Cleveland Stadium, Herschel Walker with an impressive 26-yard burst up the middle. The Minnesota Vikings lead it 10-7 over the Browns.
Well, here's the trap play. This is Randall McDaniel. He'll come down the line of scrimmage and trap on Bubba Baker. And then you'll notice once Walker gets through the line of scrimmage, nobody in the middle there. Wright comes from the side and misses. Gash from the other side, and Walker's too strong, and he's in for 6.
Keep in mind, the Vikings were able to keep the ball when they decided on 4th and 5 to go for it, and Alfred Anderson with a similar run up the middle, got the necessary yardage to keep it going.
Exact same play, different personnel, but let's go back even further than that to when the Browns had the ball and on 3rd and 1 decided to give Kozar the try on the quarterback sneak. He fumbles, is stuffed at the line of scrimmage. They don't pick up the first down, lose all the momentum that they had built up, and now the Vikings are back on top.
And this crowd is silent, and they sold out all the seats, just under 80,000, but many of them stayed home because of the cold. There are some empty seats in the upper deck and the lower as we look. Carlos will kick off for the Vikings. Eric Metcalf is deep for the Browns. Mike Oliphant and Keith Jones flank him. Line drive kick, and Oliphant on the 19. He's got good speed. Brings it out to the 38-yard line. Travis Curtis makes the stop. Here's a scoring drive, and the longest one of the game by the Minnesota Vikings. 68 yards.
Not only was it a long drive, that drive may drive them right to the playoffs.
Both teams told us yesterday that regardless of what they announce in the stadium, whether Cincinnati's leading or whether the Packers are leading, that they're not paying any attention to the scoreboard, unlike baseball where they look at the scoreboard in the dugout all game long.
This game's a lot unlike baseball.
I feel that today. First down on the 38 for the Browns. Kozar has it tipped. Metcalf, the intended receiver. That'll bring up second down. Dan, I think if there are any questions surrounding the Browns offense, and there are many of them, I think that if the Browns falter the rest of the game offensively, I think those questions will really arise, because they did take control, as you said, momentum-wise and on the scoreboard.
Well, the problems, a lot of people are starting to point the fingers at the offensive coordinator, Mark Trestman, and he's under a lot of fire here in Cleveland. He'll have to answer questions about that quarterback sneak, I'm sure.
2nd and 10. Kozar with a deep drop. And Reggie Langhorne makes the catch. Langhorne can go all the way. And he will. The Browns score and take the lead again. The second longest pass play of the year for the Browns.
Well, let's give Trestman some credit for calling this play. 68 yards for 6. The catch in the hands, and now the missed tackle. A couple of defensive backs losing their footing. Watch as Langhorne almost falls down there on this icy field. 62 yards, and the Browns back on top.
So a defensive battle in the first half, and now some fireworks in the second half. Matt Barr with the conversion. The kick is good, and the Browns are up 14-10. For Reggie Langhorne, that is his second touchdown catch of the year.
And it's twice as long as his longest catch of the year. So the Browns showing that the offenses really do have the advantage on a field like this if you can get the ball to them. That's been the biggest problem so far.
And a comment on the Minnesota defense, that was the longest pass play given up by the Vikings this year, with 35 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Langhorne with the catch. Joey Browner missed the tackle, and the dog pound is having a ball. It was brief, but effective. 2 plays, 62 yards. Kozar with 2 touchdown passes. Brian Wagner kicking off. Herschel Walker is the deep man for the Vikings. Low line drive kick. Jesse Clark mucks it, Mark Rodenhauser shaken up.
It's one of those guys in the wedge, and on a day like today, that's not a job for me.
You didn't like even playing quarterback in weather like this.
Who told?
When we started, it was 10 degrees and a wind chill of -18. Now it's 14 degrees. Balmy weather indeed. Same wind chill. What about the coldest games in NFL history? Well, there you are, #1 on the list, Dan, in everyone's heart.
Well, what can you say? The other game, though, listen, the year before when the Raiders beat the Browns here on that interception by Mike Davis off of Brian Sipe.
What was it like when you were getting on the bus in that game at Cincinnati back in '81?
Well, we took the bus to the ballpark, and Riverfront Stadium is right on the Ohio River, and there's steam coming off the river like crazy, and Coach Coryell stands up in the bus. He says, "Look it, guys, nothing to worry about. It's getting warmer out." The river is about to freeze over.
Oh, you wish. 1st and 10 Vikings on the 26. Penalty marker down. Wade Wilson going deep, and the pass is nearly caught by Jordan, the tight end. He had it in his hands. Tom Gibson, however, put great pressure on.
Going to be offsides against the Browns. Somebody in the neutral zone.
Offside, number 78.
Carl Hairston. Hairston, a 14-year veteran, and the Browns told us he might tend to tire as the game goes on. That's why we could see Chris Pike as we move into the latter stages of this contest.
But one thing Hairston has done in the offseason is he has dropped some weight, and that's because of this new scheme that the Browns are playing under Bud Carson, where the premium is no longer on weight and brute strength. It's on quickness and speed. And Hairston, for a old guy, 36 years old, still possesses some of that quickness.
You saw Pike. He has been in the game, not in Hairston's position, but he's been in there at defensive tackle.
There he is right there, and his job is to bother the center today, Kirk Loudermilk. He's got Loudermilk outweighed by about 30 pounds.
1st and 5. Wilson's pass caught by Carter. He's got enough for the 1st down. Mark Harper making the tackle. The final seconds will tick off in the 3rd quarter. Browns defense have played very well, and Harper has done well in place of the injured Hanford Dixon this afternoon. And that's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The Browns 14, the Vikings 10. We now pause for a word from your local station.
This is CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by GTE. At GTE, the power is on. The U.S. Army, where you get an edge on life. Be all you can be. And by Mitsubishi Motors, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles.
Start of the 4th quarter, 1st and 10. Wade Wilson is going deep for Anthony Carter, and Carter makes a great catch to the 20-yard line. Defended well by Mark Harper, a 44-yard gain, and that pass was right on the money to AC.
Jerry Burns loves to talk about the big knockers coming up with big plays. What he means is his stars, guys like Anthony Carter and Chris Dolman. How many times have we seen Anthony Carter come up with big plays in big games like today?
Good explanation. 1st down on the 20-yard line.
He calls them that. I don't.
I know. Good explanation by Burnsy.
That got the Vikings away from the dog pound, too.
1st and 10 on the 20-yard line. Vikings trail. Baker putting pressure. And now it's the linebacker, Clay Matthews, who sacks Wade Wilson way back there. But Baker started it. And a Viking is slow to get up, a loss of 18 yards.
And that's Wade Wilson on the ground.
Tommy Kramer better get ready in a hurry.
Well, this is adding injury to a bad play, a bad decision on Wilson's part. He should have tried to dump this ball and save his team the loss and save himself the pain. Big pressure from Al Bubba Baker, number 60. Wilson steps away from him with a nice straight arm move here. But that's where he should have dumped that ball and not taken this huge loss. He came into the game with a sprained ankle. We're not sure what they're looking at now, but Clay Matthews, he's been to a lot of Pro Bowls because of plays like that.
Tommy Kramer is warming up. Looked like the left knee of Wade Wilson. There is Tommy Kramer, who has played one down last week against the Falcons, and that was his first action in 6 weeks. So what's it like for a Tommy Kramer in this kind of weather, sitting around all game, to have to come in now?
Well, you're seeing how difficult it is. He probably can't even feel his throwing motion right now. There's no way he can throw enough passes on the sidelines now to get comfortable, to get warm. He's got to worry about taking snaps, all those type of things. You see, he's not wearing gloves. He's just trying to stretch out a little bit. Not easy for a 34-year-older to get pushed into a game of 18-degree wind chill factor.
Well, Burns is coming onto the field. You know, the last time the Vikings won a division title, which you've seen on the NFL Today in the beginning of our program back in 1980. That's the last time they won a divisional crown. Tommy Kramer threw that touchdown pass to Ahmad Rashad to beat the Browns on the next to last week for the victory.
In a lot of history between these two ball clubs, the Vikings this year are celebrating their 20th anniversary of their first Super Bowl appearance. They became NFL champs by beating the Cleveland Browns here, and they beat them 27-7. Went on to lose to the Kansas City in the Super Bowl, but it was the Vikings 40-for-60 ball club.
Bring you up to date on the scores as Wade Wilson is still on the ground. The scoring of our game, Rich Carlos with a field goal gave Minnesota a 3-0 halftime lead. Kozar to Ron Middleton, his first catch of the year, put the Browns in front in the third quarter. The Vikings countered with a nifty run by Herschel Walker up the middle to regain the lead, and then the Browns quickly struck back on a 62-yard Kozar to Langhorne hookup, and that's where we are. The Vikings are using the timeout, their first timeout of the second half, as Wilson goes out.
I remember the Chargers played in Minnesota in that outdoor stadium they used to have, the Met, and I sprained my ankle in the ball game, and I went over to the sidelines. First of all, let me tell you, it was 12 degrees out, about as cold as it is today. Went over to the sidelines, and the trainers cut off the tape, and they're looking at the ankle, and they decided to put an ice bag on my ankle. I said, fellas, sure, why don't I just air it out here today? Is the ice really necessary?
So Wade Wilson leaves the game, and Tommy Kramer takes over.
Toughest thing for Kramer right now is to just take the snap from center.
Second down and 28. And Kramer fires it away. Great pressure. Clay Matthews and Michael Dean Perry on the pressure. Let's get a scoring update around the league now from Brent Musburger. Brent?
All right, Dick, the Chicago Bears are trying to do the Minnesota Vikings a favor, but Jim Harbaugh throws it away going in for the touchdown, and the Packers are clinging to their 2-point lead in the fourth quarter. Back to Dick.
You can't beat the drama and the final weeks of an NFL season with so much riding on every game. Packers winning a Viking loss would keep Green Bay alive, would even up that division. Third down and 28. 4 wide receivers. Kramer up the middle, nowhere near Carter, who is short, and that'll be fourth down, and Minnesota will have to kick. An injured left knee is the report on Wade Wilson. We're early in the fourth quarter, just under 14 minutes remaining.
Kramer lost his footing as he was delivering that ball. That's why it came in low to Anthony Carter.
Bucky Scribner will kick for the 10th time today. And there's Gerald McNeil for the 10th time going back to receive. Going for the sidelines is Scribner, and a good kick. He got it inside the 10-yard line. Did his job perfectly. So the Browns will start from inside the 15 when we come back.
Team Summary is sponsored by Levi's 505 jeans, the zipper fly jeans with a traditional Levi's fit.
Minnesota has whatever there is of a rushing game today. Wade Wilson out of action, and Bernie Kosar has a couple of touchdown passes after a 4-game slump. Browns lead the Vikings 14-10 early here in the fourth quarter. And I guess, Dan, the big thing for the Browns is to avoid a turnover as they start from the worst starting field position to 10.
They really ought to find out where Chris Dolman is. He's caused 5 fumbles this year, 2 last week, where his teammates picked the ball up and scored touchdowns. So Kosar and his running backs have got to be very sure of their handle on the ball.
The Vikings have returned 4 fumbles for touchdowns this year, and you know they're going to be looking to strip the ball away at least. So I think that the pressure very big on the shoulders of the Browns. Cincinnati rolling over Houston, and a Brown victory today would really give them destiny in their hands. A win next week would take the division title. Kosar to throw on first down and throws it away. Penalty marker thrown from the secondary, and it may be against Cleveland. Possibly offensive interference.
Holding number 55.
It's against the defense. Scott Stunwell holding. And that'll be a first down.
That's one of those wrestling matches between the tight end and the middle linebacker that really could be called either way. But that time it goes against Studwell, and that gives Kosar just a little bit more breathing room down there.
Talk about breathing room. 52-0 Cincinnati. Pittsburgh having a terrific year when no one expected it. And the other scores. First down on the 15. Kosar will audible this one. And he'll go down. Keith Ballard. That'll be his second sack of the game. It'll be 3rd and long.
This is the reason Kosar went to the audible. When you first look at this, the linebacker is out covering Metcalf, but then the Browns shifted and put Joey Browner out on him, and he covered Metcalf and forced Kosar to eat the ball.
Floyd Peters, who was interviewed by the Browns for their head coaching post, wanted complete control up and down the line, and it wasn't to the Browns' liking. But Carson got the job, and Peters may be rumored to be going somewhere else, maybe the Jets. 2nd and 16. Kosar from the 5, going deep for Slaughter. He gave it the extension. Carl Lee was defending, and that'll bring up 3rd down now and long.
Carl Lee is a Pro Bowl cornerback, and Webster Slaughter should be in the Pro Bowl this year. This type of effort and this result will just break your heart. As he lays out, the ball bounces off his frozen fingers, and that would have been a big play for Cleveland. Tough situation now. 3rd and 16.
Slaughter has caught only 1 pass today. It'll be 3rd down on the 9. Kosar goes safe. Fumble. And now they rule it incomplete. Mark Dusbabek hit Eric Metcalf, and it took a while before they signaled an incompleted pass. Dusbabek, who replaced Mike Merriweather, who was shaken up for the Vikings.
And he dropped a contact lens there, it appeared. Oh, it's a tooth.
Might be a tooth.
Watch Dusbabek, number 59 here, with a man-to-man coverage on Metcalf out to the side. Boom.
Never had control.
And he's headed to the dentist.
And what started out as a safe play could have been disastrous. Wagner kicking from his end zone gets off a fine kick. Leo Lewis fair catch. And a terrific kick of 42 yards by Brian Wagner at the time you want the long kick. And it'll be midfield starting spot for the Vikings with 12:32 remaining.
the Seahawks against the Skins. Holiday action begins next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern.
Fortunately for Mark Dusbabek, it was not his tooth that got knocked out.
It was a contact lens, and can you imagine finding it on this field and with only one good eye?
I found 5 on the field before the game. I don't know what the problem is. First down in midfield for the Vikings, who trail 14-10. Tommy Kramer loses his footing, intended for Jordan, the tight end, and a whole bunch of defenders, including Clay Matthews, as the field affected Kramer.
Well, the middle of the field on a good day here in Cleveland is bad. It's sanded right now, and you see that Kramer having all types of trouble, falling down all by himself and checking out to make sure that how about a cold drink, somebody?
Ices. 0 for 3 for Tommy Kramer, 2nd and 10. Kramer's pass to Carter, breaks a tackle, and Carter gets into Browns territory, a gain of 20. Felix Wright makes the stop. Always a dangerous pattern because guys like Carter can break it and go all the way.
He is the best in the league at releasing off the line of scrimmage down inside and catching this slant pattern. Tommy throws him a perfect pass, and this is where it really gets scary for the defense. Perfect tackle from Felix Wright, or Carter might have been in the end zone.
Thane Gash got a hand on him. First down on the 31. Rick Fenny. And Fenny fights his way to the 27-yard line. Plenty of time remaining. 11:35 to go in the 4th quarter. Clay Matthews on the stop for Fenny, who was an 8th-round draft pick out of the University of Washington.
And who also went into the locker room for x-rays on his thigh, so you know he's playing hurt.
Total offense this quarter, Minnesota in the plus department, Cleveland the minus. 2nd and 6 coming up. They go to Herschel Walker. Walker is dropped at the 25-yard line. Van Waiters and Thane Gash. Walker with a touchdown today. 26-yard jaunt up the middle for the 1 touchdown for the Vikings.
And remember, we talked about injuries to Fenny. Well, Herschel came in with a dislocated big toe. That toe has been taped in a position where it won't bend at all. Not only that, he's got that steel implant in his shoe. So tip your hat to Herschel Walker for showing some toughness this afternoon.
Extra wide receivers. You saw Gustafson and Hassan Jones in. 3rd and 4. Kramer with a handoff to Alfred Anderson. Loses a yard, but penalty marker is down. Todd Kalis might have moved. Robert Banks made the stop.
False start, number 69. 3rd down.
The crowd getting into it a little bit. Kalis very close to the quarterback, but you'll watch as he gets started too soon here. The snap from Loudermilk comes just after Kalis gets out of his stance.
Even the dog pound has a Santa Claus.
Don't let the children see that.
3rd and 9 on the 30-yard line. Penalty marker down. A free play for Tommy Kramer. And let's see whether the time ran out. The clock was running out.
False start, number 65. 3rd down.
Gary Zimmerman. So the Vikings are having problems with their offensive line on this drive.
Well, the Vikings are starting to unravel a little bit. They get the big play from Carter that gets them in good position, and now the offensive line looking to get started a little bit too soon. Zimmerman gets the call that time.
And you can see that the Vikings are not used to having Tommy Kramer back there. Cadence may be different. Rhythm is different.
Definitely. And also both those penalties came while Kramer was in the shotgun position.
Kramer's pass is caught by Hassan Jones, and a first down. Or let's see where they mark it. They may be short by a yard. It's a 13-yard gain. They are short. Minifield prevented the first down.
We're seeing some outstanding plays today. That throw by Kramer, the catch by Jones, but then the tackle, keeping Jones about a yard shy of the first down. Kramer is under some heat here. He rolls out. This is a tough throw on a good day across his body. Puts the ball in perfect position, but then there's a tackle from Minifield. And now the Vikings are going to call timeout and figure out what they want to do on this 4th and 1. I guarantee you, Tommy Kramer won't go on a quarterback sneak like Kozar did.
Well, the Vikings are 2 for 2 in 4th down conversions today, but they have now used their second timeout, which could prove to be critical down the stretch. They trail by 4 points. We have a lot of time, 8:49 remaining, so they need a touchdown to take the lead. Kozar keeping warm for the next time the Browns get the ball. Green Bay is leading and Cincinnati leading in the 2 games that affect this contest.
This might be a little psychological job by Kozar here. He's well out on the field, about 5 or 6 yards, giving the indication to the Browns defense that he expects them to stop the Viking offense. But also, you can see some of the Vikings in their huddle checking out Kozar, wondering what he's doing.
Vikings will be left with 1 timeout. It'll be 4th and 1 on the Browns 22.
And this is where the trade may start to pay some dividends. Got to give the ball to Herschel Walker in this case.
3 tight ends, Jordan, Darrell Ingram, and Brent Novoselsky in there for the Vikings. They don't get it. Herschel Walker carried. That was their man, and Mike Johnson made the big play, and a loss of 3. Browns will take over on downs.
Watch how all the Viking movement is to this side. They get the tight end in motion, but also the Browns see it, and they're coming for Herschel. Good penetration from Michael Dean Perry. That cuts off 1 lane, and then Clay Matthews and Mike Johnson make the stop.
He has been a big short yardage defender all year for the Browns, who take over on their 26-yard line, leading 14-10. To the 31-yard line, gain of 5. Chris Dolman on the stop. A critical 4th down play, a loss of 3 yards, and Minnesota used a timeout to set it up. And as the clock runs, they have 1 timeout left, needing a touchdown to take over the lead. They control their destiny. Win for them will give them the division title. Green Bay is leading Chicago in a thriller, 30-28 right now.
2nd down, 6, at the 30.
Kozar's pass intended for Tim Manoa out of the backfield. Bring up 3rd down. Scott Studwell was defending, and at least the Browns are not playing it too conservative here.
And the one thing they're doing a good job of is taking Chris Dolman out of the game with double team blocking. Ricky Bolden and Paul Farron on this play, making it tough for Dolman to get near the quarterback.
Dolman has no sacks today, but Millard has 2. 3rd down and 6 coming up, and now the Browns will use a timeout, their first timeout of the 2nd half. Browns trying to end a 4-week drought, and they're 7:52 away from doing it. Cleveland Stadium on a frozen afternoon, and a big game for 2 teams, the Vikings and the Browns, both looking for divisional titles or wild cards, and the Browns lead 14-10. 7:52 to go in the 4th quarter. This is Dick Stockton along with Dan Fouts, and the Browns thinking about a 3rd and 6 on their own 30, using their first timeout. Minnesota has only one timeout left. Will get into the sack parade. The third of the game for the Vikings, the first for Noga. That'll bring up fourth down.
Noga's number 99 on the near side of the picture working against Cody Risen. Noga has outstanding quickness and a lot of determination as he reads Kozar stepping up into the pocket and picks up his 11th and a half sack of the year.
It's fourth down and Brian Wagner will kick. Leo Lewis goes deep. Lewis decides to let it roll, and it stops at the 43-yard line. The dog pound trying to cheer the Browns on. It was 3-0 in favor of the Vikings. Carlos's field goal in the second quarter. Then in the third quarter, Kozar with the first of 2 touchdown passes. Tight end Ron Middleton made it 7-3. Herschel Walker, 26-yard touchdown run up the middle, gave the lead back to the Vikings. And then moments later, Kozar with his second score to Reggie Langhorne, 62 yards, and that's where we are. First down on the Viking 43. Tommy Kramer in relief of Wade Wilson. Going up top and overthrows Anthony Carter, but there's a penalty marker down at the 40. And see whether there was a hold or interference against the Browns.
Illegal contact down beyond that 5-yard area. It appeared it was Thane Gash.
Ball's in the air. Illegal contact. Number 31, 5 yards, first down.
Frank Minifield.
Minifield's on the outside, but I think it's Thane Gash here, number 30, who gets the bump. Do you think the Browns are worried about Anthony Carter? Look at this. 1, 2, 3 guys trying to make sure he doesn't beat him.
Well, that's playing the percentages. You want to stop the big play man. Green Bay on Mikowski's 1-yard run. 5:21 left in the fourth. Cincinnati leading Houston in a blowout. First down on the 48. Kramer up the middle. No receiver near. I think he was going for Herschel Walker, but he overthrew him by a mile.
Well, Walker was bumped around a little bit in his pattern by Clay Matthews, and that's what Kramer's yelling about.
Wade Wilson injured his left knee, came out of the game for Tommy Kramer. Sprained left knee. Will not be back.
And that affects their season-ending game if they lose this one, when they have to face a hot Bengal ball club at the Metrodome.
Second down and 10. Close to midfield. Kramer with time, and he completes the pass to the tight end, Steve Jordan. He's been the big man on big plays. A 20-yard gain and a first down into Browns territory to the 33. Robert Lyons on the tackle.
Well, it wouldn't have been possible unless Kramer got time to throw. The offensive line, this is their best play of the game. Kramer has all day, and he throws right in the seam there, and Jordan comes up with another big catch.
4 catches for 61 yards for Steve Jordan. And a first down on the Brown 32. 6:14 remaining in the fourth quarter. Kramer, safety blitz, gets hit, and has to get rid of it in a hurry. Overthrows Carter, and it was Mark Harper coming in unmolested on a safety blitz.
Actually, Harper is a cornerback, and he comes all the way from the right side, number 23, with about a 20-yard dash. A little bit late, but he still delivers his message.
I beg your pardon. Corner blitz.
That's a tough read for the quarterback. Often you're looking at those safeties just for that, because you have to throw a side adjustment. That time, the Browns with the corner blitz.
Houston scores, but still trailing Cincinnati. Herschel Walker lines up wide to the top of your picture on 2nd and 10. Kramer up the middle. Wide open is Jordan. He's inside the 10-yard line. And the 5th catch of the game for Steve Jordan. Thane Gash makes the catch. That good for 24 yards. And the Vikings are threatening to regain the lead with 5:45.
Jordan is working against number 57 there, Clay Matthews. Nice spin move there. Matthews loses his footing on this field in the sand and ice. And Jordan sets up the Vikings inside the 10. Kramer really doing a nice job of throwing, and that offensive line is giving him the time.
That's the key. 1st and goal on the 8. 2 tight ends for the Vikings. Kramer's pass caught. Brent Novoselsky, the tight end, couldn't go anywhere after the catch. Gets to about the 6-yard line. Want to welcome the viewers who've been watching the Lions and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 2 teams fighting for divisional honors in their respective conferences, fighting here with 4:40 to go in the 4th quarter. Minnesota trailing the Browns 14-10, but threatening. 2nd and goal at the 6. Dick Stockton and Dan Fouts from Cleveland Stadium. Kramer looking, fires, knocked down, intended for Novoselsky, and it was Minifield covering him well all the way. That'll bring up 3rd down. In this important game, the Vikings, controlling their destiny, had a 3-0 lead on a Carlos field goal. That was the first half score. Kozar with a touchdown pass gave the Browns the lead. Minnesota came back on a Herschel Walker touchdown score, and then Kozar with a big 62-yarder to Reggie Langhorne, and it's 14-10 Cleveland. 4:21 remaining. In the 4th quarter, 3rd and goal at the 6, and the Browns get confused with the men they want on the field. They can't get off in time and have to use a timeout here.
Absolutely. A lot of substitution there. Critical time. Good decision to use the timeout. Problem is, though, that if the Vikings go in and score, take the lead, then the Browns will only have 1 timeout. Now, the clock has been running throughout this timeout.
That's a home field clock, and they're going to have to put some time back on it.
They might want it to back on it if the Vikings score here, because they will only have 1 timeout if they get the ball back.
Well, you could say it's a good timeout, but it's also an unfortunate timeout, because these are the kind of mental mistakes in disorganization which hurt a team. Bringing you up to date, the Packers are leading Chicago, Cincinnati over Houston in games that affect this one, and the other scores. A Viking victory would give them the NFC Central Division crown, regardless of what the Packers do. The Browns need a win to stay alive. And with Houston losing big, a win by the Browns and a win against Houston next week, they would control their own destiny to win the AFC Central. Giants clinched at least a wild card berth with a win yesterday over Dallas. And the pieces of the puzzle starting to come together here on the next to last weekend.
Kramer had a lot of time to go over and talk with Schnelker and Burns there, figure out what they want to do on this play. You can be sure if they don't get in the touchdown that they will go for it on 4th down.
They're down by 4. Each team has 1 timeout remaining. Bob Schnelker, the offensive coordinator. Bernie Kosar staying warm by warming up on the field. Now he goes off. They put 21 seconds back on the clock. Herschel Walker inside. Gets to the 2-yard line. Rick Fenny. Rick Fenny gets down to the 2. See where they spot the ball. It'll be 4th down. And they'll go for it.
And again, it's a trap play right up the middle. Kalis with the block on Robert Banks. And Fenny muscles down to the 2.
3 tight ends in there now. And now big changes for the Browns defense. They bring men off and a new 6 come on.
They take those little defensive backs and bring in some heft.
4th down. Kramer lofts it for Jordan. Touchdown, Vikings. And Jordan elated as the Minnesota Vikings have regained the lead in a back-and-forth duel with 3:37 to go.
Wonderful call from Schnelker as they fake the run to the strong side, and then Jordan just sneaks out into the flat, beats Van Waiters for the lead touchdown. And that was Jordan hooping and hollering down there in the corner of the end zone.
As well he should, having a sterling afternoon. Rich Carlos holding his Bucky Scribner. And the kick is good, and the Minnesota Vikings lead 17-14.
This is such a tough assignment for a linebacker. Van Waiters, number 50, has Steve Jordan man-to-man coverage right here. Watch, it's a fake is to this side. Kramer comes out, drops back, and just lofts a very catchable pass as Jordan just gets rid of Waiters right on the line of scrimmage and has nothing to do but grab it and spike it.
So right now, the hero for the Minnesota Vikings, with Bud Carson's offense going to work, would be Steve Jordan, but Tommy Kramer in relief of Wade Wilson. And how about that offensive line?
And that offensive line, you bet. They had a couple of penalties where they had a couple of false starts, but they hung together. They knew what they had to do, give Kramer some time on this slippery field and these athletic people they have playing receiver.
Now it's up to Bernie Kosar with 3:37 to go. The Browns had to use a timeout on defense. They have one left. 8 plays, 57 yards. Tommy Kramer with the scoring pass to Jordan. For Jordan, only his 3rd touchdown reception of the year. Carlos will kick off, and Eric Metcalf goes back.
Richard Carlos. Keep for the Browns and Michael Keith Jones and Eric Metcalf.
And a short kick. Redden fields it. And he's down at the 35-yard line. Redden had fumbled, leading to the field goal for the Vikings in the first half.
And fumbled a kickoff very similar to that one. If he would have been able to grab that ball on a fly, he could have gotten up to about midfield.
That would have been a tough catch, though, because it was a hard line drive right at him.
And it's knuckleballing as it's coming.
Good field position for the Browns, Dan.
Well, I wonder about Rich Carlos's foot, you know. I wonder about his foot, and then I wonder about his head. Why would you be barefoot on a day like today? I don't care if it helps your kicking or not. Put a shoe on, guy.
Or at least a sock. First down on the 35. And the pass incomplete. Intended for Webster Slaughter. Try to thread the needle. That'll bring up 2nd down. Reggie Rutland defending. And another Viking shaken up. It is Rutland who collided with Slaughter.
Every collision out there today has got to hurt. His own man will come over and hit him in the head. Here's the pass to Slaughter, and it's Dusbabic, who's been knocking heads all day, comes over and drives his left knee into Rutland's head. Dusbabic is lucky he didn't hurt his knee, and he might have knocked out his own teammate.
Jerry Burns sees his team 326 away from their first divisional title under Burns, and their first division title since the beginning of the decade. Audrey McMillan making Michael Grimm pause to replace Rutland. There's the passing yards this quarter, and again the offensive line giving Tommy Kramer time. 106 yards.
I guess we ought to be talking about position for the field goal that would tie this ball game up.
You know, last week Matt Barr missed 2 possible game winners, including one in overtime. And you talk about a guy who's been tremendously reliable for the Browns for several years with a chance to redeem himself. he could be setting himself up for just that in this game.
And he's been sitting a long time, too.
5 defensive backs for the Vikings. 2nd and 10 for the Browns. Kozar's pass, and Lawyer Tillman makes the catch. Michael Brim on the stop. It's tough not to be involved all day, and the rookie Lawyer Tillman makes the catch for 19 yards.
Number 85 is Tillman. He's 6'5", 230 pounds. Look how he gets down the field, but also shows that he's a pretty heady guy coming back for the ball right in front of Brim, and that puts the Browns in business.
2nd-round draft pick out of Auburn, hasn't played much this year. Reggie Rutland back in at cornerback for the Vikings. 1st and 10 on the Minnesota 46. Kevin Mack. Fine run up the middle inside the 40. Picks up nearly 8 yards. Call it 7. Joey Browner brings him down. Browns have 1 timeout left as the clock continues to run.
This is really a basic play here as well. The Browns at the line of scrimmage, so take over.
Mack going outside. He'll get the 1st down and stops the clock with 2:21 to go. Carl Lee rode him out of bounds. And the Browns are moving smartly here, trying to set themselves up for either a game-tying field goal or maybe a winning touchdown.
And again, even though the Browns and Kevin Mack stopped the clock by going out of bounds, Kozar has his team at the line of scrimmage.
On the 30-yard line of the Vikings. This time it's Kevin Mack again. And the Vikings get wise to him. And we're going to wind down to the 2-minute warning here. Kozar going to the sideline. So this game is coming down to the very end. 2 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Minnesota clinging to a 3-point lead over the Browns. 70,777, 8,000 no-shows. That dog in there was no no-show in the dog pound.
And Sam Weich would be proud of the dog pound today. They've been very well behaved, but you wonder about the type of clientele that has season tickets in the pound. Among them, and I don't think this is one of them, is the judge who ruled in the Kevin Mack case.
Hey.
So you have all types sitting in the pound.
You sit where you can. 2nd down and 9 with 2 minutes to go in the game. 4th quarter at least. Ball at the 29 of Minnesota. Kozar's pass. Caught. Not the best pass in the world, but Brian Brennan is there, as he always is, reliably.
And that pass will get Matt Barr into field goal range.
Calling the play at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Kevin Mack will have the 1st down. Browns have 1 timeout left. They're going to have to use it at the right time. They're inside the 20. Make it the 17-yard line. 1st down.
Kozar really taking control here. Has his eye on the clock. Audibling at the line of scrimmage.
1st and 10. Kozar with some time. His pass nearly intercepted by Audrey McMillan. That was closer to McMillan than the intended receiver, Brian Brennan.
Well, Kozar is looking for Brennan all the way here. They have a nonverbal type of communication. But this time, Brennan broke in. Kozar threw the ball to the outside, and McMillan could have become a big hero with the pick there.
Right now, it would be about a 34-yard field goal for Matt Barr. 2nd and 10. Kozar wants the crowd to calm down a bit. Handoff to Kevin Mack. Vikings are trying to strip it away. Dolman is. They get inside the 15. Under a minute to play. Dolman and Dusbavic on the stop. Do you think the Browns may try one more shot, or do you think they're just setting up a field goal?
No, I think they're going to try and put this ball in the air, put it in the end zone, go for the touchdown, try to end it right here.
And they're going to use their last timeout here. They weren't sure what to call and what to run.
Well, the problem is Cody Rison, number 63, he's shaken up. In fact, he's wandering off the field, has no idea where he is. Kozar sees that, and either he has to call the timeout or it would have been charged to them for an injury timeout. But Rison is almost out on his feet, trying to clear the cobwebs right there.
You want to talk about the war of attrition that you have in a game like this, playing in sub-freezing temperatures for 3 hours on a frozen field, banging heads.
That really shows you what the game is all about. You come down to the 15th week of the season. Both teams are involved in the playoff race. This is the Browns' last chance. This play right here may get them into the playoffs.
Those are with 2 touchdown passes, and you know, it would make it extra tough for the Browns if they were not to pull it out, just from their standpoint, knowing that the Houston Oilers are losing to Cincinnati and the Bengals are taking care of half of the job today. Tom Baugh replaces Cody Rison at right tackle. 3rd and 7. Kozar throws it away, looking for a possible interference call. Tillman, the intended receiver, and now Matt Baugh will come in to try to tie it up. Matt Baugh has come on for the Browns to try to send this game into overtime. 17-14, the Minnesota Vikings have the lead with 29 seconds to go. Mike Pagel will hold. Baugh trying to redeem himself after missing 2 critical field goals last week. The Vikings are going to use their last timeout now to freeze the kicker. And I have to think he was frozen long before this, Dan.
Not only are they freezing the kicker, they're finishing off this announcer with this timeout.
No timeouts remain for either team.
Interesting thing about Matt Baugh is he has had an off year. He's only hitting about 63%. He's missed 8 field goals, and 5 of those 8 have been wide to the left side. In fact, 2 of them last week. One went wide left, one hit the left upright.
He missed one that could have won the game in regulation, and then he missed one in overtime before Kozar threw the interception to Mike Pryor, who ran it in for the winning score. So Baugh, who called last week the lowest point of his career, is trying to get that point up considerably here.
The roller coaster ride of a field goal kicker. Pressure also on the snapper, Tom Baugh, and Mike Pagel, his holder.
This will be a 32-yard attempt. And the kick is good. Tied score. Bud Carson is all business. Jerry Burns has 24 seconds now, and the game is tied at 17. And this game may be headed for overtime. So Matt Baugh redeems himself with a field goal to tie the score.
Watch the hold here from Pagel as this ball is a little bit low, and then Baugh splits the bars.
32-yard field goal for Matt Baugh. We're tied at 17.
You talk about a pressure drive. Bernie Kozar and Mark Trestman put their heads together, called the right plays. Kozar executed them. Kevin Mack ran the ball well and got Baugh in range.
Vikings led 3-0 at the half on a Carlos field goal. Then it went a seesaw affair. Kozar with his first touchdown pass. Ron Middleton. Herschel Walker, 26 yards, gave Minnesota the lead again. And then Bernie Kozar hit Reggie Langhorne with the big play of the game, 62 yards Tommy Kramer in relief of Wade Wilson with a 2-yard flip to Steve Jordan gave the Vikings the lead, but Bernie Kosar brought the Browns back, and Matt Barr's field goal has tied it up. Brian Wagner kicking off. Herschel Walker is deep. 24 seconds to go in the 4th quarter. And it's fielded by Alfred Anderson. Anderson gets running room down the sidelines and gets to midfield before he's ridden out of bounds. 18 seconds remain. A 34-yard return by Anderson. No timeouts left by the Vikings. And we may see a couple of Hail Marys in the remaining time.
Well, they really need about 30 yards to get Carlos within 40 yards of field goal. So that's the big thing right now. The problem, no timeouts, only 18 seconds.
They'd have to get downfield in a hurry to set up for it. Kramer going for several receivers. Hassan Jones defended. Kramer was also throwing to Gustafson and Carter. Incomplete. 12 seconds remain.
Didn't we start today's show with that type of play 10 years ago when Kramer hit Ahmad Rashad for the winning touchdown? But the Vikings have had more success with this type of play than any other team in the league. Hassan Jones has made a number of grabs where he has just gone up and out-jumped everybody for the ball, but also you got to watch Anthony Carter looking for the deflection.
They have what they call the trips, the 3 wide receivers out to the left. Kramer going up again. Incomplete. Browns know that they've got to go for the ball because that would be the key thing in case an interference call might be in the offing. They go for the ball, they're all right.
Absolutely. I wonder why the Vikings didn't try at least a conventional type of pass play to where they at least would give their kicker a chance. They only need about a 17-yard gain here to give Carlos about a 50-yarder. His career long is 51, but I think you can throw away all those career stats right out the window if you're dumb enough to have the window open on a day like today.
4 seconds remain. So this may be the last play of regulation. Here's Kramer's effort. And it's intercepted. Kyle Kramer picks it off, and we go to overtime. First team to score wins. And if there's no scoring in 15 minutes of action, the game ends in a tie, which would hurt the Cleveland Browns, who trail.
Browns have been involved. This will be their 4th overtime of the year. They've yet to win one. They've lost 2 and tied 1. That one coming against Kansas City. But the big decision here now is if you win the toss, do you elect to receive or do you elect to kick off and have your defense out there and play a field position game?
Not only is it their 4th overtime game this year, but their 2nd in as many weeks. Lost to the Colts 23-17 last week.
There's Bud Carson talking to his quarterback, asking him which direction he wants to take the ball if they do win the toss. So he's decided that the quarterback is more important than the kicker at this point.
Ozzie Newsome is the captain out for the toss. Kirk Loudermilk out for the Vikings. Fred Wyatt, the referee.
It is a tail.
Browns win it. And the Browns want the ball. So when we come back to Cleveland Stadium, sudden death overtime coming up. It'll be Kosar at the helm as the Browns and Vikings are all tied up at 17. We're going into overtime here in Cleveland. We started the day at 10 degrees. This morning it was -7. Coldest it's been in nearly 40 years in Cleveland. Wind was not a factor today. But now that the sun is gone, it's gotten much colder. Jerry Burns and the Minnesota Vikings came within a couple of minutes of wrapping up their first division title since the beginning of the decade. Eric Metcalf goes back. Carlos will kick off, but Matt Barr's field goal tied it up. With the kickoff. Metcalf fields it on the 6-yard line. Gets some room. And Eric Metcalf brings it out to the 40-yard line where Reggie Rutland knocks him out of bounds. A 34-yard return. Let's check the overtime records. Minnesota is 1-0 in overtime. Cleveland 0-2-1, including the loss last week to the Colts.
That win by Minnesota was set up by Mike Merriweather's block of the Dale Hatcher's punt against the Rams, where they got the safety.
They'll start from the 39. On a draw play, Kevin Mack will lose a couple of yards. And it was Chris Dolman. No sacks today, but has played the run extremely well.
The entire front line has, but what they're trying to do is get across the line of scrimmage. But, you know, I think I could have made that play. Nobody blocking me. I'm not sure I could bring down Kevin Mack, but at least I could, you know, if it was two-hand touch, I could touch him, and that'd be good enough. But, hey, listen, you've got to put somebody on Chris Dolman. You can't let him free like that.
Green Bay leading should beat Chicago 40-28. So the Packers, you know who they're rooting for. They're looking for a Browns win. 2nd and 12. See whether Paul Farron moved, the left tackle of the Browns.
False start, number 66.
It was
5
Tony
yards,
Jones, the right guard, and then Farron jumped. Here are the rest of the scores. Pittsburgh with a win. Indianapolis hurts Miami's chances.
Chargers shut out Kansas City in the second half in that one. Scored 13 points to win for the first time in a long time.
Jets lead the Rams 3-0. Second down and 17. Kozar will dump it off to Mack, who can't hold on. And now the offense has stalled for the Browns. And that'll bring up 3rd and long.
Just hate that type of call on a second and extremely long, 17 yards that time, where you dump it off short to a running back and expect him to pick up at least half of the yardage. Very hard to do, especially under conditions like today.
Now you may be wondering, if this game ends up in a tie, what it means for the Browns' chances, who came in a game and a half behind Houston. They would be a game behind with a tie and a chance to end up even with Houston. They still be alive if they beat them head-to-head next week. 3rd and 17. Kozar being chased by a couple of linemen, and Reggie Langhorne. Was he in bounds? He is. Let's see what the call is on the far sideline.
Still going to be a little bit short, about 4 yards short of the first down, but if there were any doubt about Bernie Kozar's elbow, they ought to be erased by that throw. Outstanding throw.
13-yard gain here.
He comes out of the pocket a little soon here, really didn't have the pressure, but watch this throw as Langhorne is running right along with him. There's nothing wrong with that elbow, folks.
Certainly not career threatening, as some people claimed during the week. Brian Wagner to kick. Leo Lewis on the fair catch. We're in overtime, and the Minnesota Vikings get their first chance on offense. 17-17 the score. Vikings with a victory would wrap up the NFC Central. The Browns would stay alive with a win. Bud Carson and Mike Johnson talked things over As the Browns go on defense, Minnesota will start from their 17. The relief pitcher today for Minnesota, Tommy Kramer, for Wade Wilson, who sprained his left knee.
Kramer's done an outstanding job at the helm behind an offensive line that has really shut the Browns' pass rush down.
And the give is to Herschel Walker. Gets good yardage out close to the 25-yard line. Keep in mind that in overtime, each team has 2 timeouts. Thane Gash on the tackle. There's no scoring after 15 minutes have elapsed. The game will go in the books as a tie.
See Bud Carson giving the defensive signals. One of the all-time great defensive coordinator running the show here in Cleveland.
Second down and 3. Again, it's Walker getting close to first down yardage. This game ends up in a tie. The Vikings, of course, and it is a first down, still need 1 win or a Green Bay loss, as the Packers won today to wrap up the division title.
Packers have to be the surprise team in the NFL this year. Lindy and Fonnie, along with a quarterback with a magic name.
Packers could move into a first-place tie if the Browns win here in overtime. First down on the 27. And a good opening for Rick Fenny, and he gets more than 10 yards on that burst up the middle. He's got a first down to the 39-yard line.
The offensive line is proving that they can run block just as well. Again, it's a trap play. Kalis on the block on Robert Banks on the outside. Then Zimmerman comes down and seals off the middle linebacker Mike Johnson, and Finney's up there for a big game.
Notice how he protected the ball. Felix Wright and Thane Gash on the tackle. First down on the Minnesota 40. Here's Finney again with another trap play off tackle. Not quite as successful. Picks up a couple. Clay Matthews brought him down.
Schnelker is now using his wide receivers as messengers. Gustafson and Hassan Jones are coming in with the play for Tommy Kramer. It's been remarkable how well the offenses have played in the second half.
Been only 3 turnovers in the game, 2 by Cleveland. Second down and 8. Herschel Walker. And it'll be third and about 5 or 6. Michael Dean Perry making the stop on Walker. 17-17 the score. Houston has lost to Cincinnati. A victory for the Browns would keep them alive and force a big showdown against the Oilers for the division title next week. 61-7 was the final in Riverfront Stadium.
You don't think they had any fun down there, Boomer and the boys?
Sure, the dog pound and Cleveland people didn't mind what Sam Weiss's team did today.
Yeah, how about that? Cleveland fans rooting for the Bengals today.
Vikings are going to call a timeout. They'll have 1 timeout left in the overtime. We'll be back to Cleveland Stadium after this. Dick Stockton and Dan Fouts back at Cleveland Stadium, and the crowd that has remained of the 70,700 that started here, urging on the defense to stop the Vikings on 3rd and 5 on the Minnesota 45.
Steve Jordan has been a big receiver for Tommy Kramer the second half.
Vikings with 1 timeout left. They just used 1.
And it's amazing at how fast this overtime period can go. I don't know why they don't give you 3 timeouts in it, though. But there are a lot of rules I don't understand. Especially the one about Carlos not being able to wear a sock at least.
3 wide receivers on 3rd and 5. His pass incomplete, intended for Jim Gustafson. And Tommy Kramer is appealing to the official that Gustafson was pushed, or Gustafson is, and Kramer wants to get him away. It'll be 4th down, and the Browns are going to get another chance on offense. At least one more.
These kickers, the punters, have had outstanding days of their own. Neither of them have had a blocked punt all year long. Look for the Browns to put some pressure on Scribner now.
Gerald McNeil trying to get some room, but nothing doing as he's ridden out by Mark Dusbavik, who replaced Mike Merriweather, who was shaken up. Been a busy day for Dusbavik, who replaced Merriweather, who was injured and has been all over the field on special teams and playing the normal linebacking spot now. Bernie Kosar back to the helm, has thrown 2 touchdown passes today, breaking a 4-week drought. Starts from his 21. 17-17 in overtime.
Tips of Langhorne, and now the Browns have got it all going their way. Carl Lee, right on the tight coverage, had to take a perfect pass to get in there.
6 catches, 140 yards, and a touchdown reception. First down on the Minnesota 40. Kevin Mack gets outside, and Mack picks up 8 yards or so. Making the tackle was Reggie Rutland. Good outside move by Mack as the Browns are rolling now in sudden death.
Well, Kevin Mack is just having an outstanding afternoon. Did you notice at the end of this run, he had a chance to step out of bounds, but he decided to deliver a blow before he did.
Lloyd Peters, the defensive coordinator, calling the play as Mack goes out, replaced by Tim Manoa. 2nd down and 2 on the 32-yard line. Here's Manoa. See where they spot the ball. Manoa had to get to the 30-yard line. Chris Dolman in on the play for the Vikings.
I believe he's a little bit short, and that'll bring up an interesting call for Tressman. Recall last time they were in this situation, he elected to give Kosar the ball on a quarterback sneak.
They're going to measure, and I'm sure that both teams want to know how short he is, or the Browns are, from a first down.
How about 4 inches?
Scott Studwell signaled a yard. A little exaggeration there.
Oh, you love it, though. You know, whatever it takes. Upsmanship.
So 3rd and inches coming up for the Browns.
You look at Studwell in those eyes. That's a prerequisite to be a great linebacker in the National Football League. You got to have the eyes.
Those eyes have it. Kevin Mack returns to the game on 3rd and less than a yard. Quarterback sneak, and Kosar has it this time. So again, they go to the sneak. First time it didn't work. This time he appears to have the yardage.
Kosar's going to take this ball right behind Riccozzi and Tony Jones.
They're going to bring out the sticks, I believe, again.
You saw his feet kind of slip in the sandy part of the field there. But I think he's got it.
By George, he's got it.
Bernie's taking this snap, makes sure he has it well secured, but now his footing goes out from underneath him, and he's just got to lean forward. He's lucky he's 6'5", or he might not have picked that first down up.
Meanwhile, the Vikings have lost the key operative from the defensive line. Keith Millard has a separated shoulder, may not be back.
That shoulder's been giving him problems for the last month.
Thomas Struthers replaces him. Eric Metcalf in the game, 1st and 10 on the Vikings 30. Ozar with the rollout. Could have been a dangerous pass behind Metcalf. Right into the teeth of the secondary, Browner. That'll bring up 2nd down. Matt Barr kicked a 32-yard field goal to tie this game with 24 seconds left to send it into overtime, and could be called upon to end it momentarily.
He's got half that redemption back from last week when he missed 2. One hit the upright, but he's got the Browns this far.
There's Millard, who has that separated shoulder. 2nd down and 10. Ozar's pass. It's caught. That was Brian Brennan. The great possession receiver makes the catch. That'll bring up 3rd down inside the 25. It'll be 3rd down and about 4 for the Browns. They don't get the first down here. It'll be Matt Barr time. Ozar to run for it. Close. It'll be close. The Browns think they have it.
He's got it.
It is a first down.
Question is, how is he? He went in head first there, becoming the running star as well as the passing star here, picking up 2 first downs in a row. Heads up here, just diving across the line, picking up the first down.
And he calls the play at the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10 on the 19. Kevin Mack up the middle, gets to the 15-yard line. Or 16, Al Noga on the tackle. Time remaining in the overtime is 6:05.
And Kozar's trying to wear the Vikings out now, not going back into the huddle. There's no hurry. He doesn't have to be in this hurry-up offense, but Trestman wants him up at that line of scrimmage.
Here's Mack. He's hit at the 14-yard line. The Minnesota Vikings have had their miseries in Week 15. Since the 1981 season, they have lost every game on the next to last week of the season.
Last year's loss to the Packers in Week 15 kept them from winning what they're after today, the NFC Central crown.
The Browns are going to use up one of their timeouts right here.
Sometimes you got it today. Emerson's got it right. Fine-tune your life. Nobody's got to tell you. Emerson does it right. Fine-tune your life. Fine-tune your life with Emerson.
Left, split left.
Last week's Miller Lite NFL Player of the Week was John Taylor, making him eligible to be Player of the Year. Look for the next winner in Wednesday's USA Today, and at the end of the season for the Miller Lite NFL Player of the Year.
They brought on Matt Barr right now to end it. He's going to try a field goal to win the game for Cleveland in overtime. He kicked the field goal with 24 seconds left to send it into OT.
And this is a good decision by Bud Carson because it's only third down. If they have something go wrong with the snap and recover the ball, they still have the ability to kick a field goal on fourth down. But they're thinking, making it, let's end this thing. No sense delaying the inevitable.
Browns are trying to break a skid that has seen them lose 3 in a row after a tie with Kansas City. He missed a couple last week. This will be a 32-yard attempt, the same distance he kicked to send it into overtime. Tom Baugh is the center. Mike Pagel holds. And it's a fake on third down and wide open for a touchdown on an eligible Van Waiters, who came in as an eligible man, and the Browns win it.
For Waiters, all Pagel had to do was lob it over the defensive back's head, and the Browns are still in it. Good snap. Pagel, good patience. Barr follows through with the fake. Fullington almost got a finger on it. And Waiters with his first ever touchdown.
It may be his last as well, but who cares? A gutty call, and the Browns have won, and now the Vikings still have the magic number of 1. They need a win in their final game against Cincinnati or a Green Bay loss next week. And the Browns beat Houston. The Browns will win the division in an incredible overtime game. Steve Jordan from the Minnesota Vikings and Bernie Kosar of the Cleveland Browns have been chosen the Miller Lite players of the game and qualify for the Player of the Week honors. A $1,000 donation will be made by the Miller Brewing Company on behalf of the players to cerebral palsy. The hardy crew that stayed to watch this game in 10-degree temperature, and the Browns win it in overtime.
A lot of happy dogs.
So for Dan Fouts, I'm Dick Stockton saying so long. The Browns win it. Stay tuned for the NFL Today post-game show. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
In the spirit of the holiday season, this year the Miller Brewing Company will be making a donation to United Cerebral Palsy every time you buy Miller High Life, Miller Lite, or Miller Genuine Draft. From all of us at Miller, happy holidays.
Norman, what's that?
Nothing, honey.
I asked a simple question.
Norman, are you eating something?
It's nothing, honey.
He lies like a dog.
Kellogg's Nut and Honey Crunch. Crisp golden flakes glazed with sweet honey and real roasted peanuts.
Irene, what's that you're playing?
Nothing, honey.
Two can play this little game.
Kellogg's Nut and Honey Crunch.
It's a Radio Shack Merry Christmas. With Radio Shack Space Patrol walkie-talkies, your children can be Arctic explorers.
Advance slowly. The summit is sheer ice, and the cold is beginning to affect the dogs.
With the Morse code key, you can send critical information, and the flexible antenna is a must on rough terrain.
Prepare for final ascent. We've got to make the summit before nightfall.
Anyone for hot chocolate?
Mission accomplished.
Space Patrol walkie-talkies from $9.95 only at Radio Shack, the technology store.
The NFL Today post-game show is sponsored by Miller Lite. America's favorite light beer brings you the Miller Lite All-Star Super Bowl game.
Well, you see some of the things that happened today around the NFL, and we're going to hear live from Giant coach Bill Parcells, but first, the hero of the moment. Let's go back to Cleveland. Here's Dick Stockton.
All right, Brent, thank you very much. And Bernie Kosar is with us on the field. And Bernie, you think this victory in overtime, you lost last week, answers a lot of questions about the criticism of the offense?
Well, Dick and Dan, I'll tell you, it was really a great win for us today. We had a similar situation last week, and we thought about the fake field goal last week, and I tell you, a lot of guys really showed a lot of character out there today, and then really, as you know, adverse conditions, we hung in and played a good game.
Bernie, setting up that field goal was probably your best pass of the day, the bomb to Reggie Langhorne.
Yeah, Reggie came up to me on the sidelines and told me he thought he can get him deep, and you know, Reggie played a really good game today. He was hot, and I figured we did a little audible, and you know, Reggie just did a great job getting down the field.
I like your beard, Bernie.
Thank you so much.
Bernie, the victory now gives you the opportunity to control your own destiny, something you had lost with Houston losing. Were you aware at all that Houston was getting beat bad today?
Well, I tell you, try to just focus in and concentrate on the game, but I'd be lying to you guys if we didn't say that we knew what was happening in Cincinnati today.
Well, you can win next week with a win over the Oilers. Congratulations to you.
Yeah, we're looking forward to next week's game. This is going to be a big one.
All right. Bernie Kosar,
Thanks
the
a lot,
Browns.
guys.
Thank you. Right now, let's send you back to New York and Brent Musburger. Brent?
All right, Irv, not bad for a quarterback whose career was supposed to be over because of an injured elbow. Wasn't that the rumor a couple weeks ago?
Darren looked pretty good in overtime, didn't it?
Yeah, it sure did. Let's quickly take everybody through the scores and show you a couple of really wacky things that happened today. The Packers now are still alive. They go down to play the Dallas Cowboys, and the Minnesota Vikings will have the last Monday nighter. They do go home, and it's against the red-hot Cincinnati Bengals. Wait till you see their score. Here it is. The Cincinnati Bengals 61, the Oilers 7. It was 45-0 when this happened in Cincinnati. The short kick, and it's recovered from the Bengals. There's no doubt about it. Sam Weish ran it up today. Point differential certainly could become a factor way down the road. I don't know where Sam would be less popular in a restaurant tonight. I guess Cleveland has forgiven him for what he did today. Maybe he better not go out to dinner in Houston. All right, Pittsburgh and New England, 28-10. Another wacky moment in the NFL. This should never happen to an official. Oh, is he feeling badly about this? His name is Tom Dooley. And Bubby Brister crashed into him, and Tom Dooley is hanging down his head tonight. It did not count as a touchdown, incidentally. It was brought back, and the Steelers still have an opportunity to get to the playoffs. Indianapolis and Miami, and the Colts are still alive, as are the Dolphins. 42-13. The Colts at home were rough today. Here is the upset. Kansas City red hot the last month. The Chargers go in and beat them 20-13. There is a way for the Chiefs to get into the playoffs. We won't get into that right now. Detroit and Tampa Bay, and really a marvelous capper to a sensational season for rookie running back Barry Sanders. This is the run right here, Herb, that eclipsed Billy Sims' rookie rushing mark with 1,312 yards.
Well, the nice thing about it, Brent, is the fact that Billy Sims is there to see it, and he's going to go out and congratulate Gary on Barry on a tremendous season for him.
I'll tell you, Barry Sanders is going to have a great career in the NFL, isn't he?
Well, no doubt about it. He's a rookie year this year. He's got another week yet to go, and the guy's just awesome.
All right, now, these are games that are underway, and the Atlanta Falcons have struck for a couple of touchdowns to take a 17-10 lead. Here's their 72-yarder, and wide open against that beleaguered Washington Redskins secondary, and then they added another one, 17-10. Buffalo and San Francisco, Joe Montana in street clothes, getting the week off, and of course they'll need him for the playoffs. They've wrapped up the home field all the way. The Rams and the Jets turned it over a short time ago, and the Rams went in. They lead at 14-7. We're going to check in live with Coach Bill Parcells of the New York Giants when we continue in just a moment.
Player of the Year.